Hi everybody, welcome back to Goodnight, Lighthouse. I'm Miss Dorothy and I'm here to read you a story. Another story from the Bible. This is a true story of something that happened a long time ago. And it's called The Story of David and Goliath. David and Goliath. David's this little guy and Goliath is this big giant bully. And something happens in here that brings David right up against Goliath. And we need to see what David does when he gets to see that big giant Goliath. Are you ready to get inside this book with Miss Dorothy? Good. I need you to sit up and listen up because here we go. The Story of David and Goliath, written by Phil A. Smouse. Two armies were gathered on two distant hills, but the army on one gave the other the chills. Both armies were fuming and ready to fight, and it looked like any time now they just might. When what to their wondering eyes did appear but a creature so terrible, mean, and severe, that each man in God's army, each soldier and spear, was French frazzled with fear from the front to the rear. What did they see that got them so scared? He was the biggest, the tallest, and the largest and highest. He stretched from the ground straight up to the skyeth, armed to the teeth both above and beneath, a big, blurry Philistine giant, Goliath! "Yoo-hoo, boys!" Goliath spat. "Come out and play! I brought my bat! You say you're all fuming and ready to fight, then put up your dukes, have it out, all right?" So they put up their dukes, every one and all, but their dukes were all saggy and baggy and small, and they knew if they made just one pip or wee squeak, he would round them and pound them clean into next week. So night after night and day after day, on and on went Goliath that very same way. And for 40 long days, on their sides of the hill, they just stood there like statues and took it until... wow, they are really afraid of Goliath. A wee tiny fella, so dinky and small that you'd hardly believe he would matter at all, wandered into the camp and just happened to hear all the fee-fi-fo-fum that had filled them with fear. "Just who does this Philistine think that he is?" said that dinky small dude with that big voice of his. "He's insulting the army of Almighty God. But he'll do it no more over my wee bod." Well, not that kind of talk turned some heads right away. No, that's not like the thing that you hear every day. So when word got around that that wee dinky small dude was shipped off to the king, who was coming unglued, yes, the king was upset. And why shouldn't he be? He had to whip someone as big as a tree. Oh, but when he saw David, his tummy flip-flopped. His heart sank down to his sandals and stopped. They needed a hero, a fighting machine. But Dave looked like he couldn't whip a sardine. The king doesn't think David's going to be able to fight Goliath. "This kid is a tadpole, a peewee, a guppy. We need a he-man," said the king, "not a puppy. Now pardon me, son. You're a cute little tyke, but we need a King Kong, not a boy on a bike." "My name, sir, is David, and if I may say," said the wee tiny guy in his extra-large way, "that I've beaten up a bear and I've clobbered a lion and whipped them both good, sir, without even trying. For God is my strength, and although I'm quite small, by his might and his power, Goliath will fall. You say you need someone who's manly and tough. Then come over here, king, and I'll show you my stuff." "Well, aren't you a spunky young godly good guy? All right," said the king. "Let's go give it a try." So the king gave wee David his helmet and boots, and his shield and his sword and his giant-proof suit. And he figured that David was ready to fight, when in fact he was locked down and frozen up tight. David does not fit in the king's armor. "I can't fight like this, man. I can't even see. This might work for you, but it won't work for me. I said this before, but I'll say it again. It's God who will fight, and it's God who will win." So David debooted, disrobed, and undressed. He untangled the old tin can, tankerous mess. bolted down the stream, gathered 5 smooth small stones, then took off like the wind, bent to rattle some bones. "Hey, giant," David yelled. "Yeah, I'm talking to you. Hey, I'm telling you just what I'm going to do. You've insulted the army of Almighty God. Now you better get ready to swallow some sod." Well, Goliath looked down just below his left knee. Oh, and what to his wandering eyes did he see? But a wee teeny fellow so dinky and small that you'd hardly believe he could matter at all. Goliath is really big. "What? Am I a dog?" thundered mean old Goliath, "that you send me this wee teeny not very higheth, pink peachy fuzz pup with a stick and some rocks? Oh, I'm shaking the whole way on down to my socks." "Well, then fight like a man," rumbled dinky small Dave. "What's the matter, you sissy? Come on, make my day. The battle is God's, and in God's mighty name, on this day I'm the hunter, and you are the game." And so out came his sling, and then in went a stone, and wee dinky small Dave, in a way all his own, slung it round and round and round and round about, and that one tiny smooth shiny pebble flew out. Like a futon tornado, like lightning it sped, and it bopped old Goliath right square in his head. "My word," said Goliath, "you are a good shot. I was going to duck, but I guess I forgot. Why is everyone spinning? Who turned out the lights? It's nap time already? Oh well, nighty-night, there goes Goliath." And right there in that spot, in the blink of an eye, that gigantic, enormous, big muscle-bound guy went as soft as a Twinkie. He pitched into yawn and fell down with his crash. Fat head first, it's sod. Oh, there he goes. David did it. You can puff yourself up. It won't help you at all. For the bigger they are, the harder you'll fall. But when God is your strength, you're 100 feet tall, even though you're the smallest wee person of all. Wow, David won! David beat the big bully Goliath. Goliath was saying terrible things about God, and he was picking on the littler people, and nobody wanted to go up against him because they were afraid of him. But David came along and he said, no, he shouldn't talk like that about God, and God would want me to do something. And he wasn't afraid because he knew that God would be on his side. And he took those 5 stones and he hit Goliath right in the head, and Goliath fell over. And now everybody's safe. Wow, David was really, really brave. That's a great story. And you know what? It really happened. It's in the Bible, so we know it's true. David did beat Goliath, and he saved the armies from him. And then everybody knew that our God was strong, and our God was true, and our God was right. I am so proud of David. He was a little guy, but he did a really big thing. You know what? It doesn't matter how little you are. With God on your side, you can do big things too. You need to remember that every day. No matter what you're afraid of, no matter what's happening, God is on your side. And if you're doing the right thing, God will be with you. You remember that each and every day. Stay close to your mom and dad. Stay close to God. And remember, obey, and obey right away. And then come back and see Miss Dorothy, because I'm going to be sitting right here, ready to read another book to you. Bye! Thanks for reading with Miss Dorothy. I hope you enjoyed this book, and I hope you'll come back soon to read another. What's your favorite book? Drop Miss Dorothy a note and let me know. I'll go find it, and I'll read it to you. Be sure to subscribe, like, and share. I'll see you soon.